What is going on, guys? Welcome to week number 11 preview of our Big 12 Team Builder Dynasty. We're going to be doing recruiting, as always. First, Ardmore, Nebraska State, and ACU. We're kicking this one off with Ardmore's recruiting board and give you guys a little bit of an update. And special guest, by the way, Wrigley is with us here. And if you hear any noises...
Any guttural noises. He's very clingy today.
He's very clingy today.
So we're going to do this with him on your lap. So.
Yep. He's the epitome of a lap dog right now.
Yes.
So, yeah. He doesn't bark. I will just say that. He never barks. He's like really laid back dog. I've never figured it out. But anyway, regardless, let's get into Ardmore's recruiting board. Trey Day is just hanging out at number 1 for us. As a punter, we've never really put any points on him, so
I think you should get him from Gun Barrel, Colorado.
We should probably look into that a little bit later.
With that city name, I think you need him.
Yeah. Mike Brady, defensive tackle. We've seen him up on the board for quite a while, and Denver Tech is making a big-time push for him. We're kind of losing some ground. It doesn't seem like we're going to be, we'll be in the mix for him, but it doesn't seem like we're going to really get this player. Jeff Cooper seems to be a guy that is kind of in our wheelhouse right now. McAllen and Midland State vying to try to get him. We've had a bye week recently that really helped, so obviously the visit's upcoming for him.
Trending Ardmore, as they say.
Yes, it's very trending. We also have Joe Simon, the number 4 athlete.
Yes.
And we're trying to battle Minnesota and Texas, so kind of a weird lineup there for Joe Simon. Jason Wilson, outside linebacker, JUCO. He was just added to our boards, and honestly, we're just looking at more defensive players. And I know he's a JUCO, but he's still going to help us with depth. Carl Boyd at corner. We're only up 505 with Nebraska, so it's just between those two teams, Nebraska and Ardmore. Jason Gibbs, we need some help in secondary. We need to get a little bit younger there. And we do have a visit upcoming, plus 800 currently, so that's going to get us back up in the lead. In the mix at least. Gerald Anderson, another defensive tackle that we really like. I really like this player, so if we can't get Mike Brady, he would be a nice option for that.
Then you got McKinney, Bergstrand, and Smith.
Yes.
Guys that you're trying to make a comeback on the defensive side. I think Travis Griffin is a guy that you should be able to get. Anything down here?
Jamar Diggs he had us locked out, so then we just unlocked him, so he vaulted up number 2 on Ardmore's list. And then Lance Bailey, the center, number 4 overall center, is also considering us. So we still got a lot of work to do. And it's going to be an uphill battle going forward.
All right, let's check out Nebraska State's board. We got Shane Prairie, that JUCO tight end that we were talking about earlier. We're going to go ahead and just schedule that visit. I'm going to go week 12 here. Bada boom, bada bing. So we're a little behind ACU. I hope to make that up. I'm always looking for targets. Evan Towns recently got his visit with Kansas, so Camu is going to be right behind us. I'm hoping we can keep him around. Bubba Robinson, one of my favorites. I want to get this guy, and I know you're giving me crap about how many quarterbacks I have.
Yeah, but I mean, look at this. He's the number 4 quarterback in the recruiting class, and you're 1,400 points ahead of Penn State.
Yeah,
it might be a bargain get for you.
Definitely. And Brody Clement, athlete out of Wisconsin. We want that guy really bad. So defense is a big focus. Colby James, JUCO, Anthony Hines, who've been fighting Colorado the entire way. Hopefully that visit doesn't seal it for the Buffaloes. We did sign Justin Fisher. So our first good signing of the year. Eric Washington, I just recently threw some more points on him, trying to keep him in the mix. And then not much has changed right now. LaRue Carter, I think we're going to pick him up. Definitely a lot of these guys on the defensive backfield. So we're in the lead right now, but we're not really sealing it quite. We did lose Matt McClain, unfortunately. And then Joe Sloan update. You're in first by 285.
You guys are actually doing pretty solid this year in recruiting.
I'll take it. All right, and speaking of Shane Prairie, you got 25 points on him for ACU. They're just looking for some athletes. So if you know the deal with ACU, we rename any non-custom recruit that they get. So Shane Prairie, he's either going to stay Shane Prairie if he goes to Nebraska State, or if he goes to ACU, you don't get to keep your name.
Exactly.
So maybe that's my recruiting pitch to him. Maybe you got to keep that in mind.
You could change your name.
Or do you want to stick with Shane Pryor?
Right. Yeah.
Hassan Bonner update. Denver has vaulted into the lead after that visit, but ACU has a crucial visit set with Hassan Bonner this week. So we got to fend off Penn State for him. I really want to get him. This guy, Iowa just had leapfrogged with the visit there. So can you imagine if they had all three of these guys?
That would be insane.
For a team that doesn't run the ball, I think they would shift in philosophy.
Oh yeah, they would have to.
I mean,
especially with the quarterback situations that are upcoming for ACU. Yeah, they might be switching their
something to
offense.
think about. Buchanan Simmons, Denver's in the lead for him there. John Johnson, Texas. But we do have a visit. Hopefully we'll make up some ground. Cedric Jacques, big-time athlete there. So you can see a lot of talent on this board, for sure. A lot of guys in the upper 70s. This will be an interesting battle. Like, I don't know, maybe Alabama, USC, Oklahoma gets back in the mix, but between Little Rock and ACU for this guy.
Little Rock is in some good company.
Yeah. They're definitely investing in future quarterback, life after Gunnar Rivers. And then ACU has to think of life after Joe Russell. They'll have 2 years starting with Joe Russell, so they got to figure something out, like Luke Smith here.
They have a upcoming really big game here too. Arkansas, big game.
Yes, huge game in the state of Arkansas. LSU just had a visit. Camu's still holding on for Harold Reed. ACU is behind Camu, within striking distance though. And that'll do it for the board there. Colton Yo locked ACU out. I'm going to take him off the board. Midland pulling way ahead, and they're going to need Colton Yo, if you guys remember Midland State's board. But it's shaping up for ACU. I think they'll make out okay this offseason.
Let's take a look at some top 25 polls. Florida State moves into number 1.
Wow.
From number 5 with the Denver Tech and ACU losses.
Well, they beat Miami on the road, so I guess that was impressive enough for them to leapfrog North Carolina and Stanford.
Ooh.
But
it's getting pretty interesting. North Carolina and Florida State, number 1 and number 2.
Yeah.
Coming out of the
they're only
ACC.
4 games away from the finish line here. Yeah. So here's the question: huge shakeup with Denver Tech and ACU losing. It's going to come down to these teams, I think, unless McAllen makes a deep run to represent in the national championship. And if our conference continues to just rough up on each other, these teams in the ACC, Big Ten, maybe they come out ahead of us. Hopefully not, but we've been spoiled with Denver Tech the last 2 years.
Yeah, we've had some pretty good football coming out of the Big 12, and that's not changing this season. It's just like you said, we're just beating up on each other.
It's just deeper, right?
It's just a lot of parity going on.
Yeah.
So.
You're here at 8?
Yep. Top 10 team, and you know what? We'll take it. At 2 losses, I'm okay with that.
Go down the board a little bit. McAllen at 13, which I'm kind of surprised. I guess that loss to Nebraska State really hurt their perception. I thought they'd be a little bit higher than that.
Yeah, I think that if they were still undefeated, they'd be in the top 10.
Yeah. Midland State there at 15, hanging on strong. Shreveport off bye week, they're at 17, so they're still in the top 25. I know they've lost 2 games in a row, but don't lose faith, Skeeter Nation. You're still having a pretty good season. Kansas A&M bouncing back. That win over Denver only jumped them up 5 spots.
Yeah, I would have probably jumped them up like, I don't know, maybe that's generous.
Usually, you're maybe 8 or 9 or
I was gonna
10.
say 10, but then I backtracked a little bit and like 5 is okay.
Yeah. And same for Broken Arrow, jumped 4 spots for beating ACU on the road.
That's a little harsh. That's a little harsh.
I guess the 3-loss mark, I think that they're just holding that against them. Let's see if Nebraska State receiving votes. Drum roll, please. Here we go. Yeah, we doing it. Although I will say, we were in the top 25 last year, so we're gonna act like we've been there. I'm cool with it. I'm looking forward to getting ranked again soon.
Little Rock receiving 119 votes, and they dropped out.
They're 5-4 too.
Right.
They're still in top 25.
Right.
All right, Heisman watch. Look who's number 1.
Ooh.
Brian Street.
This is getting crazy, okay? The guy calls it, The guy calls it in the Discord chat
Unbelievable.
and on comments and in YouTube comments, and it's just like, how in the world do you anticipate that?
He was 86 overall. I think with progression, he has jumped to an 89.
Yeah, he's getting a little performance boosting too.
I mean,
But-
that's just surprising.
Yeah, you take down the number 1 team in the nation, yeah, you're going to be in that Heisman race.
Yeah, and Harkless player. As a redshirt sophomore, I mean, if he doesn't win it this year, maybe he'll get it the following year. Or
could.
I mean, he's trending in a really positive direction. And then Alex Makovich, with a loss, moved up. He missed time. He came back. He played a very pedestrian kind of game. I think it was 148 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think is really what I guess impressed people. But
Let me just tell you this: nobody in Michigan other than Mark Ingram, somebody from Michigan, like Beecher, Michigan, is like Flint. Okay, so this is amazing that Alex Makovich from Beecher, Michigan, is in the Heisman finalist list.
I got to talk about this too. What the hell is going on at West Virginia? All right, Big 12 players of the week. We got Alex Makovich with he only threw 3 incompletions, 148 and 3 touchdowns. So again, we're thinking the left shoulder prevented him from throwing all over the yard, and still played well enough though to get Offensive Player of the Week honors.
It's kind of a weird strategy, isn't it? Obviously, the elbow wasn't feeling well with the passing, with 103 yards, but you're going to let the quarterback run and possibly take
Put some
hits.
tape on it, you know.
Yeah, it's a little strange.
Joey Shanka had 2 sacks last week against Odessa State. Conference standing time. Wow.
It's a logjam. That's what I meant. Like, this whole entire conference is now being leveled out now. It's totally leveled out. It's almost like the reset button has been hit for some of the teams that felt like they were out of it.
Yeah, man.
Shreveport could technically still win the conference.
Well, I'll tell you what. Shreveport has yet to play Ardmore and McAllen and ACU.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
It's crazy stuff going on right now.
And you have lost to Denver and who else beat you?
Out of conference.
Yeah, it was a division. Midland, right? Okay.
Right.
So, you have yet to play.
Anybody from we just played Little Rock,
right?
but
Other than Little Rock,
right? So we could make some moves. McAllen's can make some moves.
Yeah,
it's crazy stuff going on.
Tell us in the comments not who you want to win. I think your fandom is pretty well established by now. We know who you like, but tell us who you think is going to win. At least the Big 12 East. And then in the West, I mean, it's still Denver, Midland, Camu. I think they're too far out. I can't see them doing it. And then it would take a miracle for Nebraska State to get it done. So pretty sure it would be Denver, Midland. But we shall see.
Time for the Week 11 previews, guys. Kansas A&M and Nebraska State, number 19 against unranked. But still a good team.
Yeah.
I'm finally giving you a little bit of...
I think we're pretty good. I mean, look at our defensive ranking. I mean, we're better than 111 other teams, basically. So
yeah.
It's got to count for something. And then our points per game way higher than our total offense, which is a good sign. Good sign. However, Kansas A&M, they got 9 visiting prospects. They're coming off of a huge win against Denver and a win against Amarillo, who, even though we dog Amarillo, they are a solid team.
Offensively.
Right. So, 2 really close wins after these 2 really close losses. Had a dud there. So, I don't know. We're coming off the win against Odessa State. But as far as the individual matchups go, how do you think this is going to play out?
I think that speed is going to be killer for this game. I think that with Nebraska State's ability to have more playmakers on the field, I know that Kansas A&M has Jamil Carter, and I think that if there's one guy on Kansas A&M that you're going to have to key in on, it would be Jamil Carter and Jake Fritz. If you stop those guys, you should be able to get this W. And if you utilize your speed, if you utilize Okafor, if you utilize Shinosky, if you start doing more of that pound and ground type of stuff with Lavelle, you could pull off this win.
We'll see. I'm going to pick Kansas A&M. I just think they're solid top to bottom, better than me, probably at every position you can think of. I'll go Kansas A&M at home.
I'm going to take Nebraska State. Little Rock ACU, number 6 against another unranked team. This is the game that Gunnar Rivers is going to have to prove to everybody that he can actually win a big game. Now, we were talking about this earlier in the season about Denver Tech, and he couldn't really get it done. ACU's coming off that loss. You know, it's a rivalry game now. This is kind of a tough place to be in for ACU.
16 visiting prospects.
That's a lot. It's a
and
lot.
Hassan Bonner and Buchanan Simmons. That's going to be huge for ACU. You know, I was talking about their passing game, like wanting to see a little more production. They're up to number 2 in the country right now.
Yep. And plus that rush defense, number 2, too. So this is going to be a tough game. It's going to be a very, very tough game. I'm going to take ACU, though, and getting this W against the less than talented Little Rock Battlehawks.
I think Little Rock will be able to throw. I feel like ACU, I think their secondary is probably going to force some turnovers, get some sacks, and that'll be the difference.
Yeah, if your number 1 receiver right now is Kenny Puck, you got some issues. Gunnar Rivers can't do it on his own. Talk a little bit about McAllen against Midland, 2 top 20 teams, number 13 and number 15.
Well, this is a very interesting matchup here because, I mean, it's a rivalry game. These teams will play each other every season. So they have a cross-divisional arrangement. So
it's a tough game to pick.
Yeah, really is. I mean, with Harkless playing his way into the Heisman race, and then McAllen, I mean, Dexter Whiteside has had a couple pedestrian games, and then some other times he's looked really good. Midland probably needs to win this to stay alive in the Big 12 West, which is why I think Midland will win it with the ground game at home.
Yep, I'm going to go ahead and take Midland State as well. I'll follow suit in that. I think that offensive weaponry that they have, again, I always go back to that with their wide receivers. I think Dexter Whiteside is a little more, I don't know, I want to be careful how I say this, is a little bit more competent than Harkless Blair is. I mean, Blair, with that issue that he had a couple weeks ago with the time management, you want to blame Musselman for that as the head coach, but you know, as a quarterback, you got to be aware too.
He had a great game though overall against Little Rock, and then against coming against Bryant Street, he also played pretty well.
I'm going to still take Midland State. I think that kind of stuff just really in a matchup like this, where the little things are going to count. McAllen's just that type of team where they don't do the little things right.
All right, big-time rivalry game here. I feel like this is the first time that Broken Arrow has had a real, legitimate chance to knock you off.
Yeah.
And without John Hicks, that's going to be the determining factor. It's all on Stanfield's shoulders.
Yeah, it's Stanfield versus Street. And honestly, if you look at that matchup, I mean, who are you going to take at this point? Yeah. You got Bryant Street, who's been doing amazing things this season. They almost took out Denver Tech. Came back, beat ACU. I don't know, man. Like, be a tough test for Ardmore's defense. We know that Street likes to take off and run, so we're going to be utilizing a little more defensive ends in flat routes or quarterback spies as well to try to take that away. You got to make sure that we don't let Nathan Rowe or Cassidy Morris get out deep. It's going to be tough to play against defensively against this UBA team, this new and improved UBA team.
You gonna pick yourself?
I'm gonna take myself, but you know I do have reservations on it.
All I know is it's UBA, it's Ardmore. Ardmore is their daddy.
Ooh.
Okay, not much to talk about here. Who you got?
Denver Tech.
Denver Tech.
They'll bounce back.
Now the only question with Odessa State, now they're 4-5. You get the sense that Stan Leach, they're coming off of a bowl win last season, right? Now they made the switch to Danny Booker. It was an emergency situation. They said, look, Booker, we got to try this guy out. He might be able to save our season. They got the huge win over Midland State, but so far the record is not there. And they're going to lose to Denver Tech. And we're just going to probably... Now, let me just preface that. Now, they're going to close out against UBA and Camu. They need to win 2 of these 3 games. This is a 98% loss. Okay. So that means they got to beat UBA and Camu. I think they're probably just going to go with Dowdell here. Now, we don't know.
It's not official
yet. Right. But, yeah, if Dowdell plays, I mean, either way, they're going to get slaughtered. So Denver Tech wins.
Amarillo against Shreveport. So Shreveport coming off of a loss.
Yep, lost in a bye week. So they've lost 2 straight. And, some of you guys probably don't remember this last year, but Amarillo beat the Skeeters last season. And it was kind of a disappointing effort by Shreveport in that game.
It is in the Shreve.
It's hard to say that Shreveport's better than they were last year, but you can't deny the results. They have gotten higher quality W's, and the record is way better than they were last season at this point, even without LaDuca and Wingo. I will take the Skeeters at home, like you alluded to. They're really good at home. They did drop that game last time, though. Little Rock pounded them at home.
I don't think that there's much analysis needed to be done here. I understand. I understand the reason why you'd want to look a little bit closer at this game, especially with the offense that Amarillo boasts. But, Shreveport's at home. There's really nothing else that you need to analyze here.
I love how
Shreveport at home.
I love how Amarillo, though, is flying under the radar. We haven't seen them since their Week 6 game, I believe.
It's been a while.
Yeah, we watched them play ACU, and that was the last time we saw Amarillo, so pretty funny.
All right, that's going to be it for our Week 11 preview video. Leave a like if you like this thing, guys, and we will see you on Saturday. Make sure you get your picks in for the upcoming week on goldglovergaming.com. It's nearing the end of the season, so if you guys still feel like you've got a chance to make a run at it, we got a lot of people that become inactive. So if you're kind of in the middle of the pack, if you're just starting,
it's 3 points a game.
It's 3 points a game. How many games we got? 6.
Slate.
We got 6 games. It's 18 points if you get them all right. So yeah, it's quite a lot of ground to make up. So
maybe start thinking about being contrarian too if you want to pick up
extra ground.
Yeah.
The risk that you need to take. But hey, if you're new to this and you just want to get started in it and have a little fun, that's fine too. We'll keep track of your picks as well. So, yep, that's all I got. Do you have anything else to add?
Don't ask me that question.
Oh, man.
I never have anything else to add.
Oh, my goodness.
We got to get this over with.
Holy crap.
Move on.
All right.
Video length.
Well, Wrigley also says goodbye. He's sleeping now, so he's good. So we'll see you guys on Saturday morning. As always, peace. Never ask me that.
Yeah, I'm sensitive about runtime.